Good morning, students. This is your mathematics class of grade 8. Today, we will discuss assignment 1 of chapter 6, squares and square roots. Now, coming to assignment questions, in this, we will study their solutions in detail. Now, as this is the chapter of squares and square roots, so children, you all know that square of a number is the product of a number by itself. That is, square of a number is the product of a number by itself. For example, if I need to find the square of 9, so it will be 9 into 9, that will be 81. And further in this chapter, we have learnt about the methods to find the square root of a number and different properties of the square numbers also we have learnt. Now, coming to question 1. Question 1 is, show that 500 is not a perfect square. We need to show that whether 500 is a perfect square number or not, and the simplest way to show whether the given number is a perfect square or not is by using prime factorization method. So expressing the given number, that is 500, into prime factors, we have these are the factors, this is the prime factorization of 500, and the factors of 500 will be 2 into 2 into 5 into 5 into 5. Here in this case, this 5 is left unpaired. So, and we know that a perfect square can always be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors, and in this case 5 is left unpaired. So, 500 cannot be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors. So, this is not a perfect square. So, to find out whether a given number is a perfect square or not, we need to express the given number into prime factors, and if any one number is left unpaired, then we can say that that number is not a perfect square, because we know that given number, a perfect square, can always be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors. Coming to question number 2. Express 81 as the sum of first 9 consecutive odd numbers. We need to express the given number as the sum of first 9 consecutive odd numbers. So how will you move further? We know that 81 is a perfect square and 81 is equal to 9 square. So we need to express 81 as the sum of 9 consecutive odd numbers. First 9 consecutive odd numbers. Now the sum of first 9 consecutive odd numbers will be 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17. So these are the 9 consecutive odd numbers, and we have expressed 81 as the sum of first 9 consecutive odd numbers, that will be equal to 81. Coming now, this is question 3. Using distributive law, find the square of 101. And in the previous lecture, in assignment 1 of chapter 1, that is rational numbers, we have revised this distributive law. So you all are very well aware about this law. So let us see how to proceed now. We have 101 is equal to, we can write 101 as 100 plus 1. And we need to find the square of 101. So it will be 101 square is equal to 100 plus 1 whole square. Now, as we know that square of a number is the product of a number by itself, so this can be further written as 100 plus 1 into 100 plus 1. So now the 100 from the first expression will be written outside, and then it will be multiplied by a second expression completely, like this here. This will be multiplied. This is the second expression. Now again plus 1. This is plus 1. Then again second expression. This is 100 plus 1. So first of all 100 I have taken from first term. Then second term plus 1. and then again 100 plus 1. So it will be 100 into 100. 100 will be multiplied to 100 plus 1, which is inside the bracket. So 100 into 100 plus 100 into 1 plus this 1 which is outside the another bracket will also be multiplied. 1 into 100 plus 1 into 1. So using distributive law, we have shown the multiplication. After multiplying the numbers in the bracket, it will be 10,000 plus 100 plus 100 plus 1. So it will be 10,201. I hope this is clear to you now. First of all, you are supposed to write the given number as 100 plus 1, that is 101. Here is the number, so it will be written as 100 plus 1. As a combination of two numbers, you need to write down. As the sum of two numbers, you need to write down the given number, and then we need to find the square of that given number. So it will be written as like 100 plus 1 whole square. Then as we know that square of a number is the product of the number by itself, so we have multiplied it 2 times, so it will be 100 plus 1 into 100 plus 1. Then 100 from the first expression will be multiplied by the complete second expression, plus 1 from the first expression will be completely multiplied by the second expression, and likewise you can solve it further. And as it is a distributive law, so 100 will be multiplied by 100 plus 1, both the numbers which is present inside the bracket, and 1 will also be multiplied by 100 plus 1 which are present inside the bracket. So this will be the answer. 10,201 will be the answer. So the square of the given number is 10,201. Now question number 4. Write the Pythagorean triplet whose one number is 4. And for this you should know what do you mean by what is a Pythagorean triplet? What are the three members of a Pythagorean triplet? Basically, what do you mean by a Pythagorean triplet? For any natural number m greater than 1, we have 2m square plus m square minus 1 whole square equal to m square plus 1 whole square. Let us see now what are the three members. We will use the three members here. Given number is 4, and we know 2m, m square minus 1, m square plus 1 forms a Pythagorean triplet. So one by one I need to put the given number equal to the members, so that the value of m should be a natural number. Let us see. If we take m square minus 1 is equal to 4, then it will be m square is equal to 5, because 1 will be shifted to other side, that will be 5. The value of m will not be a natural number in this case. So we will not take m square minus 1 is equal to 4. Let us verify for other members. If we take m square plus 1 is equal to 4, then it will be m square is equal to 4 minus 1, that will be 3. So again the value of m will not be a natural number. Now as we know that there are three members of Pythagorean triplet, we are left with only one member, that is 2m is equal to 4. Now here we have put the last member, that is 2m is equal to 4. Now here m is equal to 4 over 2, that will give you m is equal to 2, which is a natural number, and this is our requirement also. So the value of m is equal to 2. Now this value of m will be put in all the three members of the Pythagorean triplet. So m square minus 1 is equal to 2 square minus 1, that will be 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. M square plus 1 is equal to 2 square plus 1, that is equal to 4 plus 1 again, that will be 5. Therefore 3, 4 and 5 is the Pythagorean triplet. 3, 4 and 5 is the required Pythagorean triplet. Here we should know what are the three members of Pythagorean triplet. 2m, m square minus 1 and m square plus 1 are the three members of the Pythagorean triplet. One by one I need to put the given member or the given number equal to the three members, so that the value of m should be a natural number. Now here after putting the given number equal to 2m, I got the value of m as a natural number. So this is my requirement also. So this is the value of m will be 2 here in this case. Then I need to put the value of m in all the three members, in all the members. So m square minus 1 will be 2 square minus 1, that will be 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. Likewise if I put m is equal to 2 in the m square plus 1 member, then I will be getting 5. So 3, 4 and 5 is the Pythagorean triplet. Let us see question number 5. Is 176 a perfect square? If not, find the smallest number by which it should be multiplied to get a perfect square. Children, you all know that to find out whether a given number is a perfect square or not, we can use prime factorization method, and then if that particular number cannot be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors, then that given number is not a perfect square. Let us see in the case of 176. Given number is 176. Expressing it into prime factors, we have, these are the prime factors of 176, and 176 will be written like this: 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 11. Here you can see that 11 is left unpaired again. Okay, pairs of 2 are complete. Here it is complete. Here it is again complete, but 11 is left unpaired. So this 11 is left unpaired. So we can say that it is again not a perfect square number. So now grouping the prime factors, 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 11. We can see that 11 is left unpaired. So it cannot be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors, and therefore 176 is not a perfect square. 176 is not a perfect square. Now we need to make it a perfect square. How we can make it a perfect square? By multiplying or by completing the pair of 11. Since 11 is left unpaired, so to make 176 a perfect square, 11 should be paired. So the smallest natural number by which 176 should be multiplied to make a perfect square is 11. So after the prime factorization, if any one number is left unpaired, then we need to pair that number so as to get a perfect square number. Now question number 6 is, by what smallest number should 216 be divided so that the quotient is a perfect square? Also find the square root of the quotient. Now again we need to do the prime factorization of 216. Expressing it into prime factors, we have, these are the factors. Now if we look at the factors of 216, then we will find that here 2 is left unpaired and here 3 is left unpaired. The pairs of 2 and 3 are complete. So 2 and 3 are left unpaired and the pairs of 2 and 3 are complete. So we can say that this is not a perfect square number. Grouping the prime factors, 2 into 2 into 2 is left unpaired. 3 into 3, that is, this pair is also complete, and into 3 this is again left unpaired. So we can see that 2 and 3 are left unpaired. Now to make 216 a perfect square, it should be divided by 2 into 3, that is equal to 6. So the given number 216 will be divided by 6, you will get 36, and now the factors of 36 will be 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 because we have divided both the sides by 6. Now we can see that 36 can be expressed as the product of pairs of equal prime factors. So 36 is a perfect square. Now we need to find the square root of the quotient also. So square root of 36 will be square root 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. Then 1 time 2 will be written and 1 time 3 will be written. That will give you 6. So the square root of the quotient is 6. Now coming to question number 7, find the length of the side of a square if the length of its diagonal is 10 centimeter. Here in this case the length of the diagonal is given to us and we need to find the square side of the square. Let us see From this question it is given that length of the diagonal is 10 centimeter. Let us assume a square ABCD. This is the square. Here, as per the question, we need to find the side of the length of the side of a square. So I have taken here as length of the side of a square is y centimeter. So this AB is y, BC, CD equal to DA, that is again y centimeter, and the length of the diagonal, that is AC, is given to you as 10 centimeter. So sides are AB is equal to y, BC is equal to y, CD is equal to y, and DA is equal to y. Diagonal AC is 10 centimeter. Now considering the triangle ABC, here in this case I need to apply the Pythagoras theorem. Then after applying Pythagoras theorem, all of you know that it will be AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. AC square is 10 square and AB square is y square plus BC square is again y square. So it will be 100 is equal to 2y square. It will be y square is equal to 100 divided by 2. So y square is equal to 50 and y will be square root of 50 or under root of 50 centimeter. So the length of the side of a square is root 50 centimeter or under root 50 centimeter. So in this question we have applied the rule of Pythagoras theorem because length of the diagonal was given to us and we know that the side of the squares are equal. So we have taken it y centimeter here, and accordingly after applying the Pythagoras theorem we got the side of the square as square root of 50 centimeters. Now coming to question number 8. A farmer wants to plow his square field of side 150 meters. How much area will he have to plow? Now, as the side of the square is given to us 150 meter and we know that area of a square is side into side. So we will be putting the value directly, that is 150 into 150, that will give you 22,500 meters square. So a farmer has to plow 22,500 meters square area. Simple as this. Here in this question simply you need to apply the formula of area of square. That will be side into side, as the side length of the side of square field is given to us. So only multiplication is to be done. Now coming to question number 9. The sum of the first n odd natural numbers is. There are options in this question. A part is 2n plus 1. B part n square minus 1 is the C part. D part is n square plus 1. Here the answer will be n square because we know that the sum of first n odd natural numbers is given by n square. Simple as this. If you know the properties of square numbers, then you will be able to easily do these questions. Coming to question number 10. How many natural numbers lie between 5 square and 6 square? We need to find the number of natural numbers lying between 5 square and 6 square. The options are 9, 10, 11 and 12. The answer is 10. How? Let us see. The answer is B part 10. How it comes out to be 10? Now we know that there are 2n non-square numbers between n square and n plus 1 whole square. This is again one of the property of square numbers which we have studied. Using this property we will be able to find the number of natural numbers lying between n square and n plus 1 whole square. So therefore the natural numbers between 5 square and 5 plus 1 whole square are 2 into 5, that is equal to 10. Here n is equal to 5. N plus 1 is equal to 6. So, and you can see these numbers, you can count these numbers also. These are 10 in total. These are total 10 and we have seen with the help of the formula. Actually you are supposed to apply the formula directly. The numbers I have written you so that you can confirm your answer by counting the numbers. Otherwise direct formula is sufficient. You can apply the direct formula. Now coming to the homework part. Children, you are supposed to complete assignment 1 of chapter 6 squares and square roots in your homework notebook. Thank you so much.